What's that smell? Ah, yes, the crisp smell of fall.
Fall means sweater weather.
And speaking of sweater weather, I'm going to Marshall's today to grab a new cardigan and maybe check out their selection of cashmere. You know, new items arrive all the time, so they're always a fresh selection of the most wanted pieces for fall.
Marshall's buyers are hustling every day to get the deals, so we get the good stuff. And this fall is no different.
On everything. Leather and suede, designer handbags, on-trend denim, high-quality boots, accessories, you name it. So go get that sweater and all the other must-haves you'll love for fall. Marshall's is a one-stop shop for all the good stuff for less.
It's decided then. I'm going to my Marshall's for a whole new fit and more. And you should too. Score some amazing deals in-store or at marshalls.com.
Well, what is this?
Welcome to the LadyGang.
That's amazing. Say that again.
The LadyGang.
Things are about to change around here.
Each week we catch up with Hollywood's hottest girl posse. Kelty Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jack Vanek.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to LadyGang. I am Becca Tobin here with Jack Vanek and Kelty Knight.
Guess what I'm having, guys? So, do you know what this is?
Yeah, Ford
Like a
has one of
fidget
those
spinner
toys.
thing?
Ford has one? Good.
Yes.
So these are like the popper fidget things that they are giving kids now, and I have my own because the last time we recorded on Zoom, I think someone was here with me and we recorded together, and they're like, Jesus Christ, no wonder you're like all over the place because you have your phone and your tablet and like there's a lot of things happening.
Oh, that was me. And
Yeah.
you weren't paying attention to the podcast at all.
Yeah. So now because I don't like to sit still, as you guys know, unless I'm like reading or sleeping or laying in the sun. So now I fidget with my fidget popper the whole time and look right into your eyes while we're podcasting. I'm not looking at a second
You
screen.
need that putty stuff, too.
It's really good. I actually didn't. The other place that this is very useful is the airport. You know, when you're waiting in line and no one can line up properly at the airport, I've talked about this many times. I just sit there and I just pop my fidget popper and then I'm very chill.
You know what you could also get? They have those like fidget rings that like would be very inconspicuous. Yeah, that you just like
Oh, yeah.
go like that on
Why
your
do you
finger.
think this neon blue and green thing is like not my look?
Maybe like me in a more of a professional setting, you can get the ring.
Okay. This is my profession.
I don't know.
This is my profession.
That's true. You can just hide it underneath the screen. Yeah.
Well, it's time for...
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
Is that your good week, Kelty, that you've
No,
got a
no, no,
special
no.
prop?
I mean, no, this is what it is. It's like, you know, but I'll go. I'll do my good week.
Okay,
go
I have
for
a good
it.
week. The most famous member of the LadyGang has struck again. Another baby was named after me.
Wow.
Aaron DM'd me. Baby Kelty number 4 has been born. She was born July 4th.
This is so insane.
And baby Kelty's gorgeous, obviously. But there's so many baby Kelties, and I just want to say congratulations, and I can't wait to see what baby Kelty does with her life. I'm sure it'll be nothing short of miraculous. I hope you're doing well. I hope baby Kelty is thriving, as I know she is. She's probably already walking and talking, and we love you so much.
What happens when you do something horrible in life and
I
then the
never
name
will.
Kelty is just ruined for all these people?
Okay, well, also then that's the end of LadyGang and your job. So maybe we shouldn't be manifesting these types of things, Jack.
Just being realistic.
Well, congratulations. Welcome
you.
to the world, Kelty.
Kelty number 5, I guess.
I think it's 4.
Well, if you're the OG Kelty.
Oh, you're right. Kelty number 5. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it number 5?
Yeah. Well, I'm Kelty number 5. It's baby number 4.
But it's the 4th baby to be named after you?
Yeah.
In the LadyGang. That is pretty crazy.
No, one of them is from the bank in my hometown. So 3.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Well, still big number, guys.
Big number.
Here's my bad week.
Congrats.
As the most famous member of LadyGang, this is a theme this week. I, of course, have a Google alert on myself, as everyone does.
I don't.
And what happens when you have a Google alert on yourself is that when Google puts up an article and your name's in it, it sends you a little email that's like Google alert. And it's what thrills me. So I got a Google alert and I was like, oh my God, great. Like, I'm hot. And the Google alert said, inside your favorite celebrities' closets. And I was like, yes, someone cares about me. So I clicked on the article. Guess what it was? Becca, in my fucking closet, there was 10 famous celebrities. Becca Tobin was like number 7. And it was like, Becca in her closet. She's in my fucking closet in a article that we took for People Style. They ripped it out and they took just your picture in my closet. And the reason I got the Google alert is it said, Becca hosts a podcast with Kelty Knight and Jack Vanek, which is why I was mentioned. It had nothing to do with me. And it was like the best celebrity closets. And they were explaining and talking about why this closet was so beautiful. The light, the window, the color. It's like a private special room. It was my fucking closet.
Wow. Is this like from like a long time ago that we did this?
No, they just repurpose bullshit on the internet.
But it's from a long
People
time
Style
ago.
thing we did years ago when I was in my old house and we all shot looks in the closet.
Oh my God.
They stole the picture and they're like, wow, Becca's closet is so beautiful. Here's all the reasons she's the most famous.
That is amazing.
Well, sorry about
and
that.
the other thing is that I accidentally had Google Sound Alert during that whole thing and it recorded my whole story to my phone.
Oh my God.
Good. This is for book number 3.
Oops.
I see all the F-bombs in there that Jared's going to have to edit out.
Oh, yeah.
Story. Anyway, who's
Sorry,
next?
Jerry. I'll go next because I think it's important when you're being built up to humble yourself yet again. So to stay relatable, stay, for people to still
Like you?
like me. So I hadn't really had a lot of auditions lately because summer's like a pretty quiet time of the year in television anyways, but also because we're going on tour, it kind of knocked me out for any jobs that would be filming in September. So they're ramping up again, and I got my first audition back in a while for a project that is based on a book that I read over the pandemic that was like one of my favorites. And so I got this audition. I'm like, oh, this is exciting. I like when I actually know about a project that's coming. And it's like when you hear about it, you're like, oh, cool. I wonder if I'll ever be able to audition for that thing. So, being a new mom, you have like no time to prepare anything. I did my best. I like whatever. Kelty read these lines for me the night before just so I could like hear them out loud. And then the next day we Zoomed together so she could like help me put these on tape because everything is still very much self-tape. It's certainly not one of those auditions that I sent off and I was like, I have a good feeling about it, but I was like, ugh, whatever. It's like, it's out.
But aren't those like kind of the ones that end up doing better than the ones that
anyway.
you think? Yeah.
That's what I think.
So it's Friday night and I sent it in on Friday. And on Friday night, I go to dinner with our friends who are in town. And then Kelty texts me and she's screenshotted a DM from a young woman who says, I work in casting and I just got a great tape from Becca and was like, OMG, Kelty reading for her. So fun. That's all. Just wanted to send a little sparkle on a Friday. So I'm like, oh my God, I am so mortified. Because that's also like really, it's like you never want like your friends to meet. Like sometimes you never want groups of people to spill over.
That we don't want.
Worlds collide.
Yeah.
I never want casting to collide with the LadyGang. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there they are. And I was like, ugh. I go, ask her if I got the job. And Kelty goes, I'm working on it. And the quote was, they thought it was so fun and spot on.
This is the problem. She said that.
Yes, she's a casting associate.
Oh.
Is that bad?
No. I mean, it's bad because when I go see a friend's show on Broadway that sucks, the first thing I say to them is, so fun.
Yeah. It's like thumbs up.
You looked like you were having such a good time doing that audition. Keep dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm a psycho, but I did not take it that way. No one actually has ever told me I'm spot on in my life, but if they did, I would be like, I'm the tits.
You would take that. You'd be like, yeah.
Well,
I am spot on.
You do have a beautiful ability to do that, but
Spot on is not like she was great. Spot on
is saying great with like zero emotion. So
Yeah.
I think it like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that was the best thing I've ever seen, but it's like spot on is a pretty solid
I agree.
It's compliment.
It's like if someone goes up to bat in and they
didn't hit a homer.
No, they make contact with the ball. You know what? You're spot on. But it's knock it out of the park is when you get up there and you knock it out of the park.
Yeah, that's true.
Your attempt.
Okay. Let me say this in defense. I don't think I thought it was already, very nice that she reached out. And she definitely DM'd me because she knew you didn't check your DMs. But I also think she couldn't say they fucking loved her because then she would get in trouble. I looked at her Instagram. This was a young lady. And if then your agent or your manager was like, heard on Instagram, she got the gig, I think she's downplaying how much they loved you. It's so fun to live on my side of the planet. I feel like you guys should come on over. I feel like she was downplaying how great you were. Her spot on was a clue to like, she was exactly what we're looking for. And today, it's literally no business days have passed. You're going to get a call back. I know it. I can feel it in my bones.
Well, that's really nice of you. And yes, I understand. First of all, I want this young lady or anybody who works in casting to know I've had this type of information in the past. I would never even breathe a word to this to like my agent or my manager.
Except on my podcast later.
Except publicly.
But she won't. But here's the thing is like nobody's going to know that she can't get in trouble for me talking about this because nobody knows the show, the casting, whatever.
True.
There's like a million options that could be in this. Yes. So, but I would never, if I received a DM that was like, hey, you're going to probably get a call back. Like I've gotten those tips off before.
Yeah.
And I've never said a word because I don't want anybody's job to be,
Okay.
So, but here's the thing. I am spinning this into a good week, not because I think I'm going to get a call back, but because I feel like at this point, the Lady Gang is so big that I could get some really solid feedback from people in the industry.
Yes.
To know
what do you need to do?
Not what I need to do, when it's time to say goodbye.
The opposite.
I have a question, Becca, and I know this is like maybe too much information, but okay. When I go into an audition and when I've tested in the past, what happens for my brain is I go in, I do my on-camera test or whatever, and then I leave, and then for the week after, I picture myself in the job.
No, we've talked about this.
I know, but are you doing that? Because if you're not doing that, then you're not going to get the job. You have to.
No. I did that all in my 20s. That's all I did in my 20s is I imagined the job. I looked where it was shooting. I was like, oh, this is going to be the job. I'm going to be flying between here and wherever. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. And I kept the sides because I'm like, I need to keep these sides because it's going to be for my memory book of when I got this job. Right. No, I did that, but there's a totally different approach now that I have to take, which is like, I did it. It's over. If something comes back, it's like, wow, what a cherry on top of my day. However,
what do you think, Jack?
I think that like you two are two completely different people, and what works for you, like Kelty, you don't take things seriously, personally, in the way that Becca or I would. So I feel like what Becca does now is probably protecting herself so she doesn't get let down and like disappointed and like hurts her own feelings, right? Where it's like if you imagine this whole thing and it's like you're spending so much time and energy envisioning a life or whatever because of this one thing happening and then it doesn't, it's like, well, now I'm a failure. Where it's like where you could just like do this thing and like best case scenario it happens, worst case I didn't put that much energy into like trying to manifest something that failed, because you can't manifest it after it happened.
And also statistically speaking, your job required you to have like maybe 2 to 3 auditions a year. Because once you're in the job, you're doing it for a long time. And there's only so many jobs for what you do. I'm doing I've had years where I've had like 1 to 2 auditions a week for the whole year. So that's a lot of
disappointment.
I
understand. It's just like protecting yourself.
I'm just calling out. If the Lady Gang wants to anonymously send in some feedback, You're going to need to offer a little bit of information about what you do, because I don't know now if people who hate me are just going to write in and pretend they saw my casting tape and say, you're a horrible beast and you should retire.
Oh my God.
I'm going to need to know there's like some substantial whatever, but here's an open invitation, you know, help a sister out. Why are we now suddenly, why as actors are we in the dark? If I had a normal job, I would go do something. I would make a presentation and someone would be allowed to tell me how I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
She wants her quarterly review, guys.
I love my quarterly.
She wants
but
her quarterly review.
I do love
feedback.
that the Lady Ganger did DM.
That is really cute.
I love that they recognize my voice. Maybe should start auditioning.
I thought you did a great job reading those lines, by the way.
Don't take over my job, Kelty. That was supposed to be
Jack's
me.
also great at it.
Yep.
I'll get my shot. Okay. My good week is a shout out to Jenna Williams, a Lady Ganger. Speaking of DMs and babies being born, Jenna just gave birth to her son. And she posted in the Lady Gang group. She DM'd Kelty. She DM'd me. Like, she wanted it to be known that she was wearing a Jack Vanek shirt while she was giving birth. And the shirt was my shirt that said, "This shade of black I'm wearing really brings out the color of my soul." So I love it. She said it's her favorite shirt now. It's going to be like her lucky shirt. And I just wanted to say, congrats, Jenna. I hope you named your son Jack so I can get some names in the running, because I don't know how many Jacks we have out there. But congrats. So sweet.
How did she
really
opt out of the hospital gown?
She's a doula. I think she
It looks like she's having like a home birth.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The picture she sent is like her naked. She said she has more pictures, but they weren't
I mean,
appropriate.
she's definitely at home. She's like on her bed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that she's in a Jack Vanek shirt.
I know. She's just
and I
like,
love that it's like such a like dark. Like I just love that. You know, 'cause everyone's like, you know, flowers and.
well,
and
she's
like,
definitely she's tatted.
Yeah, she's an emo kid.
She's emo. Yeah.
Love it.
Which I love it. It's like
Congrats,
so on
Jenna.
brand. Congrats, Jenna.
Congrats.
My bad week is, and this is kind of on topic because we have our dermatologist coming on later, that I'm finally getting over this stupid reaction that I had to antibiotics, that I had an allergic reaction to doxycycline and my whole body freaked out. It was a whole thing. I had cystic acne on my face for like a good week. That's finally starting to go down. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody on Instagram who had diagnosed my allergy. Just like another not going to the doctor, you know, my IBS-C that I also have that's been self-diagnosed from other people in my DMs. So I do want to say thanks for everybody's help because, you know, didn't feel like going to the doctor.
Good for you.
And I lived through it and I'm on the other side. So
I'm proud of you.
No more doxycycline for me. I think it might be... I've taken it before, and the only thing that's changed since I took it this time is I've gotten COVID. So I don't know if it's like
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's just over time. Like my mom
body.
has every couple years become allergic to a new antibiotic.
Really? Well, your allergies like cycle out every 7 years, so it might be that.
Yeah.
Good. Yay. Allergic to medicine. Love it.
Yay. Good job.
All right.
Well, we've got a special guest. Excited to have her on.
So if you want to create an extension of your brand that's ready for anything with custom apparel, go no further than Land's End Business. So you can get fully customized clothes, accessories, promotional products featuring your logo and colors, elevated by decades of experience. So the best-in-class customer care also comes with Land's End. They handle inventory while you run your business. So since 1993, thousands of businesses have relied on Land's End Business to outfit their employees. They offer timeless style that fits every body type and the widest range of sizes you'll find in brand apparel. So Land's End Business is leading online supplier of iconic uniforms for everyone from top financial institutions and major airlines to local mom and pops. So whether you're a carpet cleaner, mechanic, moving company, or corner pizza shop, they have your uniform needs covered. So you can get email, chat, and phone support with customer service team eager to help. Every business is treated like a VIP, and we love that. So set up an online store where employees can order items they need without worrying about inventory. See why thousands of companies count on Land's End Business. Go to business.landsend.com/lady and use promo code LADY for 25% off your first product. That's business.landsend.com/lady. Promo code LADY for 25% off your first product. Rothy's just saved the day for me because I was on vacation and I packed my Rothy's because I needed shoes that I could be walking around all day in, shopping, sightseeing, and then also being cute enough to roll right into dinner or a nice lunch and feel like I was chic because I was comfortable. Nothing ruins a vacation or a day in general like an uncomfortable shoe, but that's why I love Rothy's. So they're known for the point and the flat, but they also have ultra comfortable sneakers, which I love. I have a slip-on that I literally live for. Their wide range of styles transition easily season after season because they're all machine washable. Best part is Rothy's makes it better for the planet. They've repurposed millions of single-use plastic bottles into their signature thread that goes into every single one of their products, and they're machine washable. Did I mention that? It's amazing. I love Rothy's so much. Comfort, washability, durability, style. Let's get into it. Get stylish shoes, versatile and durable enough. Wear all the time with Rothy's. Get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/LadyGang. That's ROTHYS.com/LadyGang.
Now back to the Lady Gang.
Our guest today is a Harvard-trained, double board-certified, which I didn't even know you could be, dermatologist and surgeon. She's also a badass entrepreneur with 2 businesses, one here in Austin called Austin Skin. It's a boutique dermatology clinic, and a new skincare line called Foy, which we're going to dive into because I'm a new fan. I'm a super fan. And it's an innovative line of products that combine the best of evidence-based and holistic skincare ingredients to nourish your skin and manifest your magic. So I said you're Harvard trained, but you were also valedictorian at Vanderbilt.
Wow.
In med school. So we have the Elle Woods, if you'll allow me to refer to you as the Elle Woods of dermatology, Dr. Kristina Collins. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I really wanted you to come on because since meeting you, I've learned so much. So like, what would you say overall tips to having your best skin ever?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. It's fun. I have this fun combination of a procedural based practice where I'm doing skin cancer with these rural Texans, one day. And then I've got these, high end, patients who are trying to look their best on another day. So it's really of things that kind of keeps me interested all the time. Mm-hmm. I always think of care and skincare as really kind of like holistic integration for the whole person, right? So I grew up in a family with a lot of ancient healing traditions. My dad's a chiropractor and acupuncturist. So I've always sort of had this kind of whole body view of medical care. So with the skin, good skincare, I think, starts from good health, right? So someone who's hydrated, someone who eats healthy, who doesn't have tons of sugar in their diet. Those sorts of things are where you're going to start your good skincare program. It actually doesn't even start like on your skin. But
we can't buy it. That's such a bummer.
I know.
I was also going to ask a question from, I know Kelty is wondering, is Diet Coke good for your skin?
I know it's not.
I would say no. Probably not as bad as regular Coke though. So there's that.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we are all guilty of, having certain likes in our diet or whatever that are not perfect for our skin, but it's all about balance, right? You can't be perfect like all the time. So I guess if Kelty wants a Diet Coke, she should go ahead and treat herself.
Don't say that out loud. I'll take that as the gospel.
Yeah.
True.
But in terms of topical skincare, I usually just say, the best regimen for someone is what they'll actually do, right? If you overcomplicate it and you give like 5 million steps both times a day. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm working. I know I personally don't have that kind of time to like sit in front of the mirror for 1 hour and just massage 10 things.
I cannot.
Skin. Yeah, no, it's not possible.
I have the time and I can't.
No.
Yeah. No. So I think that simple is really best. You want to cleanse in the morning and night. I usually recommend to follow that with a serum. In the morning, the serum should be kind of like antioxidant or protective. So you're wanting to like protect your skin from things you're going to see out there in the day. So maybe some heat protection, some UV protection, some antioxidants will help like clear your skin from free radicals. And then if you're more dry skin, you might want to do a moisturizer and then If you're more oily, you might want to jump right to the sunblock at that point and forego the moisturizer. The sunblock should be a physical blocker, not a chemical blocker. Again, I'm kind of like a hippie dermatologist.
What does that mean?
So,
What does that mean?
Yeah, chemical blockers are sunscreens that basically the UV light interacts with their skin, but they block the damage from happening. With a physical blocker, the key ingredients would be titanium dioxide or zinc oxide, and they're basically coating your skin. So the UV can't penetrate into your skin.
Googling my sunscreen, telling me what it has.
I'm like looking at my sunscreen right now too.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
No weird chemicals back there, guys. I just think, we don't truly know the long-term effects of having all of these strange chemicals on your skin all the time. They've done some studies and they found that the chemicals from chemical sunscreens can be detected in the bloodstream, right? So that's kind of weird. So I prefer to just keep it really safe. And I actually think physical mineral blockers with titanium dioxide or zinc oxide are actually better at sunblocking anyways. So they used to be super like white and pasty, so nobody wanted to use them. They look ridiculous. Like you would look like this white ghost at the beach. Now they are so much better and they melt into your skin much better. So there's really no reason not to.
But isn't the zinc? The zinc is what breaks me out.
I know. I was going to say, I have like one brand of sunscreen that doesn't break me out. And I just was on the ingredient list and put in, it was titanium oxide and zinc oxide, you said? Are the two? They're not in there. So now I'm back to square zero and I don't know what to do. So do you have like a recommendation for sunscreen that works, that is good for like sensitive, reactive skin?
It can be tricky because sunscreens typically are sort of thick. So if you have skin that commonly, breaks out, it can be tricky to find that perfect balance. One thing that you could maybe look into would be the loose powder sunscreens. So Color Science has one. I have no financial stake in Color Science or anything like that. It's just kind of like a blanket recommendation. But they sell actually a loose powder that's in a brush. It feels like you're not really wearing sunscreen, and it's really, really light. So something like that might be better for someone with a more oily skin type that has a little more acne-prone skin.
Now, you brought up something about the junk, for lack of a better word, in all of our beauty products. I know that you're very, very, very into the clean beauty and so there's so many differing opinions on what is considered, like what label means what. Does it really, if it says natural, does that mean it's not giving us cancer? Like, how do we differentiate other than using your products?
Well, it can be tricky, right? Because everybody wants to present their product as non-toxic, right? I mean, people aren't really going to like go on and be like, well, try my toxic skincare regimen. But there are certain things you can look out for. So all of the products that are in my formulas, all of my formulas contain no water. They're waterless. So a lot of skincare products, the number one ingredient, so the number one ingredient on the ingredient list is the thing that's in there the most. Okay. So that's how you have to put that number one. If you look at most skincare products, the number one ingredient's water, which means out of all of the ingredients in there, water is number one. You're basically paying for something that's at least 50% water most of the time. And then because there's water in it, what they have to do is add these chemicals to preserve it, for preservatives. Because if you have a water-based product, within a week, 2 weeks, you're going to start growing fungus, bacteria, all that stuff without preservatives in that product. The other thing that they do is they want the product to look a certain way, so they'll add chemicals to make it like more white. Your skincare products in general would not come this bright white color because ingredients from nature typically are not bright, white with no ingredients.
Interesting.
So they add all this stuff to try to make it look that way because they've found in studies that people like it to look that way. And then they add stuff to make it smell a certain way. And then you get the fragrances on board, potential hormone disruptors and things. So you kind of going from top to bottom, you're looking at the water-based products are going to have the preservatives. And then when you start looking at products that, have a very bright white appearance, have fragrance added, all of those things are things I would kind of look at and be maybe, not choosing that as part of my product.
We're all just being tricked. lot.
Yeah.
I have to go back to square one with everything.
Well, I'll send you Foy stuff because you're not giving us a single penny to talk about the product, but it's when I had a conversation with you, I was just like, my head was exploding with every single little bit of knowledge you were dropping, because marketing is a powerful thing. And if we're told certain things and I hear certain words, I am a sucker and I'm going to buy that thing. And so I just am so appreciative, and I wanted everybody to know. So the other thing, I'm so excited. It's very LadyGang. You created a vulva oil because
I just saw it on the website. I was like, what is this?
Why? Can you please explain why we've been neglecting our vagina skin for so long and why we need to stop?
Yes, absolutely. I'm super passionate about this because I just feel like overall, we don't talk about women, so-called women's issues, right? We don't talk about vulvas. I have a 4-year-old, so in my brain, Encanto just was playing like, we don't talk about Bruno. Like, we don't talk about vulvas. Like in my head, I'm like, I need to make
we don't talk about vulvas.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Oh my God.
Exactly. It was like in my head. That's all I could think about. But several years ago, when I started thinking of the idea, I was kind of like walking around at Sephora. And I'm looking around at all the different, products. There's something for our cuticles, our knees, our elbows, our eyebrows, our everything from top to bottom. And there was at that time nothing for V-Care. It was just a desolate region. Since that time, a few products have popped up for V-Care, and mostly they're just kind of like oil blends, like gentle oil blends, like to moisturize. And I haven't been able to identify many products or any products that actually address specifically what is happening of the vulva during different stages of our lives, and how can we make that better for women. So as women, we will have these natural fluctuations of hormone levels in the skin during, maybe because we're on oral contraceptives, maybe because we just had a baby, maybe because we're pregnant, maybe because we just had a new sexual partner. All of these things throughout our lives can affect the hormone levels of the skin and the microbiome of the skin. And in the vulva, when estrogen levels are high, you typically have healthier skin cells, a preferential pH level, and a healthier microbiome as a result of that. When estrogen levels plummet, for example, after you have a baby, estrogen levels just go whir, whir, and a lot of women suddenly have dryness of their vulva area, tearing with intercourse, discomfort, perhaps even starting to have problems with yeast infections or bacterial infections, things like that. So what I wanted to think about was what would be truly supportive of the unique cells of the vulva that women could actually throughout the course of their life use something preventative, so that they aren't just reactive. Like every time something happens to their vulva, like, okay, well now I have to get up courage to like call my doctor and be like, my vulva smells like a fish. Like,
been there.
White discharge, whatever it is. It's like nobody wants, it's the most embarrassing thing when it happens. And really, it shouldn't be embarrassing for us to talk about our bodies, because these are actually just natural parts of being a woman that the more we talk about, the more we can make people really comfortable in their own skin. So with the Foy vulva treatment oils, there are things like wild yam and raspberry seed that help naturally boost estrogen levels, because that's what it's really about. We want to boost those estrogen levels throughout time, because that's going to be what prevents a lot of problems for women of that area.
Wow.
Love it.
Fall has officially arrived, and Brooklinen knows that colder temperatures mean more time spent cuddling under the covers with a good book and your favorite cuffing season snack. Luckily for you, Brooklinen's soft, cozy home essentials offer everything you need to feel warm and fuzzy all winter long. So if you're looking to snuggle or you simply appreciate the finer things in life, Brooklinen's heathered cashmere sheets will have you covered with the lightweight luxury of soft cotton and cozy Himalayan cashmere. Their limited edition seasonal colorways, ink blue and rust, transform any bedroom into a luxe Swiss Alps resort. There's a reason that Brooklinen has been a sponsor of the LadyGang for several years. It's because collectively the three of us are obsessed and have them all over our homes, but so does everyone in the community. For everything you do in bed, check out brooklinen.com today for their luxurious home and bedding essentials. Use promo code LADY20 for $20 off plus free shipping on your purchase of $100 or more. That's BROOKLINEN.com, promo code LADY20 for $20 off plus free shipping.
LadyGang is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Let's face it, sometimes multitasking can be
overwhelming. Like when your favorite podcast is playing, like the LadyGang, and the person next to you is talking and your car fan is blasting, all while you're trying to find the perfect parking spot. But then again, sometimes multitasking is easy, like quoting with Progressive Insurance. They do the hard work of comparing rates so you can find a great rate that works for you, even if it's not with them. Give their nifty comparison tool a try, and you might just find getting the rate and coverage you deserve is easy. All you need to do is visit Progressive's website to get a quote with all the coverages you want, like comprehensive and collision coverage or personal injury protection. Then you'll see Progressive's direct rate, and their tool will provide options from other companies all lined up and ready to compare, so it's simple to choose the rate and coverage you like. Press play on comparing auto rates, quote at progressive.com to join the over 27 million drivers who trust Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
You're listening to the Lady Gang.
So this is like the age-old question, but I'm asking it because I even had it. And I know that I've read it a million times online, but I want to hear it from like the best doctor who handles this the most. Signs to look for when you are searching your body for problematic places.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, it's hard because I would say the vast majority of times patients come in, asking a question about one spot on their skin, and that spot is totally fine, and we find something else that's actually the spot of concern. So I think it's really hard, without training, without that trained eye, to find the spot of interest. But people can be really interactive with their dermatologist in terms of monitoring their body for new things that come up and pointing those things out, because that's super useful as a dermatologist when someone's really aware of what's new or changing on their own bodies. But overall, people always hear about like the dark mole and the bad mole, because people have a lot more education about melanoma, which is a specific type of skin cancer. But the most common types of skin cancer would be like basal cell carcinoma or squamous cell carcinoma. And those, a lot of people don't really know much about. Looking for a spot like that would be a pink spot that doesn't heal, sometimes something that bleeds, that just people will describe it as like it comes and goes. Those are all things, if something looks like kind of an acne spot, but it's there for months, it's not an acne spot, right? Oh, wow. That would go away a lot faster.
Jack's face just went to fear. She was like, what?
Well, no, I was just wondering, are those on like, because you said it like an acne spot, so it looks kind of like a pimple. Is that like on your face usually, or like where are you looking out for those?
Could be. Yeah, it could be anywhere. I mean, sun exposure is by far the most common cause of skin cancer, whether it's basal cell, squamous cell, or melanoma. They say about 90% of skin cancers are essentially due to sun exposure. So usually the places that you receive more sun exposure would be the top places where you might get skin cancer, right? But it can really vary. It can happen anywhere. It can happen where the sun doesn't shine even. I mean, I've seen skin cancer everywhere.
My fiance, we had a very scary, spooky encounter with this old lady at Trader Joe's that my fiance he's covered in freckles. Like he probably has 1 million freckles on his body. And she scared us into both getting our bodies mapped because she said that she had skin cancer like 5 times. And she's like, you're going to get it too because you're so freckly. But he was like, I don't even know how they're going to map me. But he has like a precancerous mole or something that was removed, but it was like on the underside of the back of his knee, which is so crazy because it wasn't really where the sun is hitting at all.
Wait, so when all this happened, you went and got mapped and he did have something?
Yeah, I went and got mapped because I got spooked and I take action. And then after a while, he's like, oh, maybe I'll get mapped too, because he was the one that had like the bad spell cast on him. But wow, yeah, the spot that they found, I mean, he has 1 billion freckles on his face, but it was like where the sun literally doesn't hit, which is crazy.
It's funny how you mentioned you went in first after this encounter, because I would say 9 times out of 10, every man that comes to the office, there is some woman in their life that forced them, begged them, dragged them, tricked them into being at the office at that time. I've had people get so creative with having ways for their husbands to have appointments, like making the appointment, pretending they need a driver, all of these different things, because men just love to like push off any sort of
course, they
care.
hate doctors.
Yeah.
Now, how often should we be going to get checked?
So for the self skin exam, I would say like once a month, because if you look like neurotically at your skin every day, you're going to get like so accustomed to everything on your skin that you don't really notice changes. But then again, if you just wait every year, you don't know your skin well enough to detect new things, and B, may miss an opportunity to be an early detection of something. So once a month, just to look at yourself. And then for most people who are young, who don't really have anything much that we're monitoring, just a check-in baseline, and then maybe every couple years from there. But the dermatologist, the office, will basically provide that guidance in terms of how often you need to be seen, because some people have atypical moles or precancerous changes, and those people might need to be monitored every 6 months. So it really varies pretty wildly, but just your average person, just getting a baseline just to see, hey, am I somebody that requires extra monitoring or not, can be super helpful.
I do want you to tell the story. I love a cautionary tale because sometimes people just need to be scared into getting their head from buried under the sand to actually check themselves. The story that you told me about the woman who you recently saw who thought she had an infection.
Yeah. So, just recently, I saw a woman who thought she had an infection on her lip, and it was being treated with antibiotics and, antifungals and all this stuff. Well, for 6 months. And it turns out it's just this massively growing carcinoma. And, on her exam, it's like, I'm feeling that there's a lymph node that I can feel. And things like that, where I think partially it's a public education thing where people aren't totally aware of the way skin cancer presents itself. Like I said, a lot of times it's always about the dark mole, and there's actually many types of skin cancers. And this particular thing was more of like a sore, and then again, there's also that standpoint of taking, ownership of your own healthcare and making sure that if you need to, you are seeing that specialist or seeing that person who is an expert in that area of your body. Because unfortunately, people like pushed aside in healthcare. I think especially women, sometimes it takes longer to get at the right diagnosis for them, or their concerns aren't seen as valid. There's so many times where women experience this sort of thing in medical care where maybe whatever they were noticing or feeling or bringing to the table isn't totally pursued as a medical problem, right? So I think it's especially important for us as women, or people who are in minority groups, for example, who have experienced that kind of lack of awareness in healthcare, that they really push for their own interests and their own protection.
When you have skin cancer, does it show up in blood work as well, or is it only topical?
No, it's only on the surface.
Interesting.
It's interesting with skin cancer is such a fascinating thing, because it's the only organ system on the body where you can get cancer and we can see it right in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So it's on the surface. So something inside the body has to get really large before it's ever detected. And so because of that, these cancers that arise in the body are so much more deadly. We have such a great opportunity with skin cancer to treat it at an early phase, but it really depends on that person coming into the office and getting something checked out. And I mean, in addition to kind of healthcare awareness, I also think just denial can be so huge. Oh my gosh, I have seen denial take many, many forms in the office. And even when a very rational, a very educated person, has this ability sometimes to create a really false narrative for themselves, and denial, and especially when we're talking about something scary like cancer, you see those defense mechanisms pop up for people. And unfortunately, those defense mechanisms can be really unhealthy. So always just like checking ourselves with like the denial, like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Well, you guys, this is a public service announcement. If you're listening and you haven't been checked in a while, denial is a scary thing. I'm going to kind of segue into another thing that I just very much admire you for. You are obviously a boss lady. I hate the term, but you really are. You're, a doctor, and you have these businesses and now the skincare line. I met your husband over the weekend, and I didn't realize that your dynamic was that he is a stay-at-home dad. And I found this to be so refreshing and so modern. And I'm like, how are there not more? I know that they exist, but it's a newer dynamic. And I just kind of wanted you to talk about that because I think it's great. And I think there's a lot of women out there.
Yeah, it's really interesting because that just sort of happened naturally for us because he's just a lot less career driven than I am. And we ended up moving to Austin for my career. My career takes up a ton of time, right? And so just naturally, it just ended up sort of morphing that he was staying home. Even before we had kids, he was staying home and like taking care of more of the domestic type work, more of the like organization stuff in our lives. And I was kind of like going out and doing the work outside the house. And I've always been fascinated by the way people react to it because I think it really like cracks open and shows, it's like, it really shows the way that there are still inequalities here in this country right now, because domestic labor is really not viewed the same as non-domestic labor. Labor that people think is supposed to be sort of like the women's jobs, they aren't valued the same way that quote unquote the men's jobs are valued. And the way I really see it, I can see it just, it goes right in your face. If like a patient's asking me like, what does your husband do? And I say, well, he actually stays home with our kids. There's just immediate like, oh God, how do you get that deal? Or, like this kind of negative crackback. And it's so fascinating because like my male physician colleagues absolutely would never encounter that. If they say my wife stays home to take care of our children, the response would be overwhelmingly positive. It would be, oh, that's wonderful. I love that. It's important to have that foundation in the home. What they're really saying is that, yeah, let's keep women there. We don't like to see the man working in that sphere because that challenges us in terms of our opinion about what work is truly valuable.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point.
It's so true. And I mean, I know what you do is really, you're literally dealing with cancer and it's high stakes. Yeah. But after having a kid for only 6 months, I also look at your husband, Matt, and I'm like, he may deal with more stress every day.
Oh my God, you guys, there are mornings where I'm like, bye, like running the floor, like
have fun.
Yeah, enjoy, like it honestly is really hard. The domestic work is hard and it should be valued on the same equal level. And, the fact is that women still do the vast majority of domestic work in this country, even if they're working, right? Like they're still doing the majority. We need to value that work. We also need to find ways to make it more equal for women and also encourage men to get out of the box a little bit, that it is important. For me, with my career, having that support system has been absolutely critical. Yeah. So it works for us, but I will say, mom guilt, woman guilt, all that stuff never goes away. And so, I think as women, a lot of times we tend to really judge ourselves, when we're at home with the kids, we're thinking, oh God, like I should be getting all this stuff done for work. And then when we're at work, we're like, oh man, I'm like never the one that picks up my kid. I'm never the one that is there for this or that. And I think it's really hard because I think we do that to ourselves in a way that men don't. Like, I don't really see my husband go down those trains of thought at all. I think as a woman, it's so important to be aware and sort of like actively peel back those layers of woman guilt that we all sort of experience so that we can be truly fulfilled in either our career or our personal lives.
I love that.
Thank you. You are preaching the gospel here at the Lady Gang.
I know.
Well, please tell everybody where they can find you, whether it's at one of your clinics or your skincare. Like, just let us know.
Yeah, I would love for everyone to find me. So my skincare company, Foy by Dr. Collins, launched exclusively with Free People in July. So you can find my products online at Free People. You can also find them online at my own website, www.lovefoy.com, or on Instagram at love .foy.com. And my office, Austin Skin, has 2 locations serving the Austin area. Our website is austinskinphysicians.com.
Thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your busy, crazy life.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. I
can't wait to oil my vulva.
Yeah,
I know.
Yes.
Every day.
I just love the fact that I'm getting all this feedback that women are doing that and they're feeling really empowered. And I feel like if I can do one thing to just help boost women's confidence, empower them, get them talking about quote unquote woman stuff, then I'll feel really good about what we did with the vulva treatment oil.
Well, we're all, you're
but
in
I'm a
good
huge
company.
fan of y'all. I love this podcast. It's so fun and funny. So thanks for inviting me to be a part of it.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
coming.
coming.
Congratulations.
And
Bye.
we will
see you next
Tuesday.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social. At Kelty, at Becca, at Jack Vanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.
All this month, celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with Pluto TV. Watch movies with the biggest stars like Eugenio Derbez in No Eres Tú, Soy Yo, and Luis Gerardo Méndez in Camino a Marte. Plus, Pluto TV has thousands more movies and TV shows and over 45 channels in Spanish, all for free. So download the Pluto TV app on all your favorite devices and start streaming today. Pluto TV. Drop in, watch free.